You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible.
Elizabeth Lederer, the woman who, of course, prosecuted Central Part 5, she is stepping down from Columbia University School of Law. She's here for decades as a lecturer, but because of massive protests by black students and the release of the Netflix series When They See Us, too much public pressure causing her to say she cannot return. Now, she was a woman who, if you look at that show, had doubts about Linda Fairstein and saying that those 5 individuals committed the crime. Well, she still moved forward to prosecute that case. Now, years ago, when a documentary by Ken Burns came out, there was also public pressure to get her to step down, but it had no impact. Columbia Law School, though, did remove a reference to the Central Park 5 from her bio. Well, now, way too much pressure being applied to her and applied to Linda Fairstein. Now, remember, Linda Fairstein, the woman who led the sex crimes unit of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, she's already lost her book agent. Her publisher had to resign from 2 boards as well. And so, Ava DuVernay's documentary, actually her series, is leading to huge changes when it comes to individuals there. The individuals in Central Park 5, they, of course, continue to put pressure, saying they need to pay for what they did for those young men being incarcerated for all of those years. I want to bring in my panel now to talk about this. First and foremost, Greg Carr, Chair of the Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University. He joins us there in Washington, D.C. As I said, I'm here in Miami. And also Michael Brown. He's the former Vice Chair, DNC Finance Committee. Greg, I want to go to you first. This is really important because it shows you the power of media. These 2 women, Elizabeth Lederer and Linda Fairstein, they have made money. They have been celebrated for putting these young men wrongfully in prison. They are now having to pay the price.
They are. I'm a little concerned because we live in a country where today it's them, tomorrow it could be us. The academy is a strange place. And so when I read the letter from the Black Law Student Association, and shout out to them because people are being proactive. What you see is the university, and they complained 6 years ago, as you said, and they kind of took something off her bio. But, she's working as an adjunct. She's not a tenured member of the faculty. So, that there's kind of a gray area there. And so that doesn't concern me as much, and I'm glad to see it. And certainly in response to this popular media surge we see, whether it be Mute R. Kelly and Being R. Kelly or now When They See Us, but at Harvard a few weeks ago, you had a husband and wife who were forced out as deans of Harvard colleges, where they were residential deans, because the students decided that they didn't like the man because he was a lawyer who was on Harvey Weinstein's defense team. I got a problem with that. These are tenured faculty members of African descent, and so when we swing the sword one way, it's like, yes, a victory for righteousness, but that sword cuts both ways, and I wonder what this precedent begins to set when something comes out and somebody is forced to resign that we perhaps support.
I absolutely agree with that. And Michael, the bottom line is what you are looking at here. You're looking at the reality of justice. These 2 individuals have not had any blowback whatsoever. They both still have their law licenses. And based upon everything that we know, clearly the legal profession has not done anything to them. The city of New York still has not apologized. For the general public, this is the best way they can, in essence, exact revenge to say y'all must pay some price for wrongfully imprisoning, framing, and setting up these 5 young brothers.
Well, Roland, it's interesting. The professor, who's much more profound than I am, and his answer was very profound. Mine is much simpler. And it reminds me of the segments you have on your show where white people do dumb things and then there are consequences and they get fired. This is exactly what you do on your show pretty much weekly. And so from my standpoint, it's like a reparation in some form or fashion, that there has to be some kind of consequence for acting like you acted however many years ago it was. And so I'm glad that they're starting to lose their things. I certainly understand what the professor is talking about relative to this can come back and get us, and totally makes complete sense. But in this particular point right now, I'm glad they're getting some justice. And they got paid. So I know they got paid too, not as much as probably they should have, but at least they got something.
And Greg, again, nothing has really been done against them. New York has not apologized. Now, I was seeing Tamika Mallory and her social media. They are now targeting DA Vance because he accepted $28,000 in contributions from Linda Fairstein for his reelection. They say anybody who took any money from her or Elizabeth Lederer needs to send that money to the charity or give it away.
Now that I think is more appropriate. I think this is a great lesson in how we can wield political strength. And when it comes to the academy, or when it comes to something like that, freedom of speech, I think there may be some issues there. If I were a law student at that time, maybe I say keep her on the faculty. I'm gonna take a class and blow her up in there every day and force her to deal with it. But in the street, meaning dealing with money, dealing with votes, dealing with political formations and associations, I think Tamika and them are right on. Let's go out and eviscerate everybody politically and economically. And this is a lesson we learned from the period of Martin Luther King. The most effective weapon in the civil rights movement in many ways was either the boycott or the threat of the economic boycott. That is the Montgomery bus boycott. That shows you we can put that, starve them, because I can guarantee you one thing, and this is for sure. They're not going to starve because you got these billionaires out here, these right-wing racist billionaires that will write them a check, and that's just like what's going to happen to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Thanks, good job for lying. Here's $1 million, go sit on the beach for a while. She's not going to be put out of doors because she lost a job, even if they have to take her next book, buy 100,000 copies of it and put it on the New York Times bestseller list and throw it in the trash. They're going to take care of their own, so it's good that we are pursuing a similar strategy.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just 1 month. All right, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a lot of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. And of course, they're excited by that. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not better, than the last. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is a cousin to marijuana, of course, and then it has a higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all of the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Now, until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, that changed with the 2018 Farm Bill, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, and this makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. All right, folks, all you got to do is go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org if you want to get in the game. And if you do so, do it now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.